Hello and welcome to an update of our Goldilocks experiment. I have my 3 bins all ready to be fed. The smallest pieces and the larger chunks and the one large piece. And then of course today I'm going to add bedding. So we have equal amounts of bedding here. That's what it looks like in the chunks, and this is in large strips. So all of this was measured out, and everybody is going to get equal amounts. So let me get the light position here, and we'll start. These guys have been doing really well, actually, all of them. Even the larger pieces look wonderful, but this is the smallest, and that's where we fed. And they've done such a great job with the bedding that I decided to give them some more bedding. We want the bin to be healthy. These guys, oh, they look happy. Chunky, juicy, which is how worms are supposed to look. And lots of castings. No holes at the bottom and no standing liquid. The material is flaky and does not stick to the gloves. That's how I like my bins to look like. And of course, these guys took care of the food. I knew they would. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put the new bedding in. This is going in dry. If I had issues with the material being too dry, of course, I would put in moist bedding. And there's a blue worm trying to escape. Who's going to feed you out there, you little idiot? Okay, so we're just going to roughly work the dry bedding in. Basically everywhere. And then we can feed. So we can feed in this corner right here, just making sure nothing's on my gloves. And we'll give these guys their favorite watermelon. This is 5.5 ounces. All of them are 5.5 ounces. And then we have a little cap of oyster shell. So everybody gets equal amounts. And we're going to cover this up and let the worms take care of this. I'll mark it with this moist paper, and these guys are done. So let's move over to our next bin. So here is our second bin, and this is where the material is in chunky form. But even so, just look at all these castings. These guys are just working away. Very nice. And the worms themselves look beautiful. I'm gonna roughly turn the material over. Make sure to look out for baby worms. Look at all the castings. Beautiful. So this bin still has some banana skins left. But other than that, they've caught up. So we'll do the same thing for these guys. This is what their bedding looks like. And I'm sure that it will absorb any excess liquid. Not that I run my bins too wet, but still. It will all be nice and moist in no time at all. So we will feed these guys in here. They have their chunks ready. Again, I'll give them oyster shell, and we'll just cover it up. Good job, guys, good job. And mark it. So this one is looking good. So far, there aren't any bugs in here, but then again, they tend to show up once the bin has been established for a little bit longer than this. So let's go over to our final bin. And here's our final bin. This is where all pieces are the largest, but even so, I mean, just look at that. This is basically castings. I'm actually surprised at this bin the most because of the quick way these guys took care of this bulky bedding, which just goes to show you, you don't need a shredder. If you don't have one, you don't need it. Look at what these guys can do. Wonderful. Everything is really nice and moist in here. So these guys are still working on that apple. That's okay. Just like we did the last time, we will give them another feeding and then check on them next week. And if they still have 2 pockets of food, we will, of course, not feed them. But as you can see, we see springtails. And although that is quite normal, to me, it just says that because they're not breaking it down quickly enough, they're getting some help. They're trying, though. They are trying. Give them a break, guys. They don't have any teeth. So we are going to give these guys their bedding, and this is in large pieces, so not sure how exactly it's all going to look when it's incorporated, but oh well, do the best we can. That apple tart covered. I'm sure it'll get moist fairly quickly. So we will feed in this area right here, and they will get this piece of watermelon with the oyster shell. And we will try and cover it up as best we can. And mark it with our moist paper. And I'm sure this will get, I mean, in no time at all, this will all be nice and moist and composted. So that's our update. All 3 bins are doing well. Lots of castings. And of course, the bin that has the smallest food particles and bedding is getting composted the quickest, but these guys are not too far behind. So very happy with the results, and we'll check on them next week. Thanks for joining me.